I think we're absolutely at an inflection point. You're quite right. I've been working in TV advertising for quite a long time, eight years in fact. I spent the last 8 years at ITV. And it has really felt that addressability has always been something nebulous in the future at some point, but it really feels like it is here and now. Across Europe, broadcasters are taking it very, very seriously. Different territories are in very different situations with different data laws, different technology, different operators distributing their content, but all the broadcasters I'm speaking to as I travel around Europe very much view it as a very high priority for the next 12 to 18 months.
So tell us about sort of the opportunity about addressability and how big it is. So we speak to a number of people on the buy side and they say, well, you know, it's okay for certain brands, but it doesn't really provide broad reach. Like, how do you see, you know, notwithstanding the various technical issues, as a sort of an advertising medium, how do you see that roadmap?
Yeah, that's a really good point. At ITV, we used to have a phrase that brands have been built on wastage, which I think is absolutely true. Linear TV is a very wasteful medium, and essentially you're not always reaching the audience you want to reach, but that helps build brands at scale. In fact, you know, what FMCG brand in the supermarket or which car brand hasn't been built on TV? But now that I've been working in the ad tech space, I'm viewing things a bit differently. I think wastage, or saying that brands have been built on wastage, is a bit of an excuse. A bit of an excuse to not necessarily focus on adopting the technology as quickly as one could have. Because actually, for every campaign that is trying to reach as many people as possible, there are 1,000 campaigns that are trying to reach a much narrower, more granular audience. So I'd really say that it isn't so much that brands have been built on wastage, brands have been built on good TV advertising. And wastage is exactly what it is wastage. Wastage is therefore the greatest opportunity in marketing and advertising that we can address and make TV advertising much more efficient.
So Jon, will you explain to us sort of the role of Videology in this sort of addressable ecosystem?
Yep. Well, yeah, that's quite an interesting question as well, because of course Videology has come from a demand side background. For the first 6 years or so of our company, we've been focusing on advertiser and agency clients. It's only really been in the last 2 years that we've been focusing on broadcasters and operators as well. But really the technology that we've been providing isn't any different. It's absolutely focused on planning, forecasting, and data-driven optimization of advertising. And of course, that optimization is so important in a world where there's fragmented data and, you know, so many different data sets captured everywhere, whether it's login data from the broadcaster, customer data from the operator, or all these different third-party data providers. It's a very difficult optimization challenge because, of course, unlike traditional TV targeting around demograph, where one person is one age and one gender, in this kind of modern fragmented data future that we live in, one person is a member of hundreds of different audiences, and all those audiences overlap, and so it becomes mathematically very, very challenging to optimize. And that's absolutely Videology's core proposition that we've been working on and developing for the last 8 years.
So how do you see you speak to a lot of broadcasters, they're anxious to monetize in new ways, obviously. What do they want to solve, if you will? And I know that's kind of a broad question, and you know, because you do speak to many of them, it's in your background. What do they need to solve now?
Well, there's a few challenges, but actually before I get onto the challenges, let me talk about the benefits, because we've spoken about reduction of wastage, but of course another great benefit is that of the yield opportunity. The fact that by providing more granular targeting, one can presumably charge more. And of course, for an advertiser, that comes through in efficacy of advertising. It's an efficacy improvement. But there's a third opportunity as well that is absolutely key, and that is the improved user experience of addressable advertising. And this has been proven again and again in research. Sky Media themselves released a project, a research project last year, where they found a channel hopping during targeted linear ad breaks was down 33%, which is an incredible figure. So those are the opportunities: reduction of wastage, yield opportunity, greater efficacy of advertising, and improved user experience. Absolutely incredible benefits. The challenges, though, are of course the fragmentation of viewership, the fact that people are watching TV on all sorts of devices now. The TV is now an iPad, it's an iPhone, it's a set-top box, it's a connected TV. Then there's the fragmentation of data, the fact that data is coming from all sorts of different places. There's the evolution of demand, the fact that agencies want to plan campaigns in new and different ways. And then finally, last but not least, there's the complexity of audience targeting, the complexity of working out how to optimize advertising across a portfolio of inventory when every campaign is targeted to different audience segments.